Ted here. As you can see, we are coming in with a bit of a different type of video this time around. I know the majority of the content lately has been just interviews and talking to interesting various people from the scene, which obviously is my favorite content to do, but I guess it's my favorite content to do outside of the days when we actually have a reason to talk about Counter-Strike majors, the most important, the most prestigious Counter-Strike events twice per year. We get to do those types of videos with the pickems, where I share my vision on how things are gonna go, and we just do the pick'em challenge in game. Now, for this one, unfortunately, we couldn't have a guest on, but we will have someone really interesting joining us up. Or joining us in for the next stage of the pickems, which I think is going to be, well, we're not going to do a specific podcast type of thing between stage 1 and stage 2 because they just go one after the other without a day off in the middle even. But after stage 2, before the start of stage 3, sorry, we're going to have a really interesting guest on the channel. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that like button and the bell so you stay tuned. But yeah, with that being said, for those of you that don't know, the Blast Austin Major is right around the corner. It's starting off on the 3rd of June, and the event will conclude with the grand final, which will be played on the 22nd of June. Same month. You've got 16 days with some breaks in the middle, but 16 days of Counter-Strike with live coverage from Austin is going to be a banger. There's a lot of storylines. There's a lot of interesting things to talk about. But it all starts with the pickems, with the fight for the gold coin, which everyone obviously is really interested in. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Take a look at the first round matchups, and from that point on, I'm going to share with you what my strategy is going to be, at least when I'm filling up my pickems. All right. We are already in the major calculator. Of course, for those of you that don't really know, I'm going to leave the link for the calculator down in the description of this video, so you can go through all the matches and see how things could go. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of looking at the major calculator about the entire stage, and I've seen a lot of people do that, and I understand obviously you're trying to higher up your chances to get the right answer towards the end. I think there's too many variables, and it's absolutely impossible to get all of them right. At least for me, even round one, especially when you're looking at those first two rounds with the best of ones, it is really difficult to predict what's going to happen. And the nature of majors has always been really unpredictable. So what I will do is I will be focusing on the first round and then potentially seeing if my predictions for the first round come true. What is that going to leave me with for round two? And those are the things that I'm going to use as guidance, so to speak. So first round games, the most important thing when you're trying to lock down your 3-0 and 0-3 picks is to look at the games that look like a sure thing, right? And out of all those matches, I think the one that looks like a sure thing the most is Heroic to take down the Chinggis Warriors. And I'm going to get to that, obviously. Those are probably going to be my 3-0 and 0-3 picks, at least the first ones. Then you've got a couple matchups that could go either way. And the reason I say they could go either way is because there's a lot of differences with how things could go down veto-wise. And how things could go best of one wise. Now, we started off with Complexity OG. On paper, Complexity is the better team. On paper, Complexity should be able to win. Now, there was a little bit of turmoil and a little bit of uncertainty with whether Hauserk is going to be able to actually show up and play at the event, or Junior will be doing that. We're going to have that conversation having in mind that we are talking about Complexity with Hauserk, right? If Junior is there instead of Hauserk, I think Complexity lose a lot of their bravado in a way. They lose one of their key players, right? One of their best players and one of the most reliable people on the team. So I think they could have a massive issue if he's not playing. If Hauserk is playing, though, I would still say they are favored over OG. But this, for me, is a 50-50 game between two teams that will eventually make it out. So I'm not looking here for my 2-0 or for my 3-0. I'm not looking here for a 0-3. I'm looking at this game and saying, you know what, those are two teams that I believe in. No matter how they make it, they will make it. Do I believe that they will both be 3-0s? Probably not. So I'm not even looking here, right? Because even if, let's say Complexity win here, they're playing against FlyQuest next game. Let's say OG win, they're playing against Heroic. So there's no way those guys are getting easy draws, right? That is, of course, unless Fluxo beat FlyQuest, then you're probably favoring Complexity for the 1-0, and even then they need to play a best of 3 against Bedboom, right? If BB win their game. So we're focusing on the first round. I would personally say I'm favoring Complexity because of experience. I feel like OG might need a little bit of time to get used to things, but again, that's how I felt about OG at the MRQ as well. And OG, for those of you that don't know, went into the European MRQ and beat everyone. They beat Astralis, they beat Metasport, they beat Nine Pandas. Astralis in the first round on Nuke was the big one, and it was looking a little bit shaky with the BO1s. I'm not gonna say that OG dominated all the competition, but I think they are one of the creative teams in here, one of the more creative teams in here that actually have a solid system to play. And Nikodos is feeling comfortable in this team, of course. In case you haven't checked out the interview that I did with him, it was one of the more recent ones. You can go and do that. We discussed the current form of OG. We discussed how comfortable he's feeling within the team. There's actually a lot of interviews we've done with people on this team list. But yeah, I will side with Complexity because of experience and because I think OG might be a little bit more stumbled going into the event. I still believe that they will hit the ground running later on and they will still make it out. But let's just say for prediction's sake, but I would advise you to stay away from this game and trying to predict who's going to win it, because for me, this is a straight up 50-50. Now, Bait Imperial, another one that has two teams that I believe in to some extent. I believe that Bait is one of the best teams in this entire phase of the event, and still is not a team that I wouldn't trust with my 3-0 because of the, again, lack of consistency within the team. They do play good Counter-Strike. NPL is an in-game leader that I like a lot. Headtrick is a good oper. Kenzizor is a really high ceiling player, let's say, even though he's inexperienced. It's just the fact that they have good pieces. I think everyone fits their role really nicely and everyone understands the task really well on Bait. But it's just the fact that I think the same way that it happened at the MRQ and they started really slowly with the BO1s, we could see something similar, right? OG and Bait are those two teams that I have no question in my mind. They are the second and third best teams in this stage, probably after Heroic, outside of the European ones, right? Because I think Complexity is definitely in this conversation, and it's probably even, it's Heroic and Complex. In my eyes, Complexity is the second best team here with Hauserk. But then I'm looking at OG and Bait, and those are teams that 100% should be making it through. It's just the fact that you're playing a BO1 against Imperial, which is who have been pretty inconsistent in Europe and internationally. In Brazil, they've been dominating and they have a shit ton of firepower, right? We should never forget about No Way, the Senshi, Try. This is a good team. Imperial is a good team. And now with Che, I think the structure makes a whole lot more sense. And I think role-wise, they probably feel a lot more comfortable. Imperial is one of those teams that never get mentally discouraged, right? Psychologically, they're always going to be the happy ones. And it all starts, I think, from the in-game leader of Vinny. So Imperial is a team that I'm not willing to write off. Still, Bait is definitely the favorite going into this game, but I think a lot of people overlook the fact that Imperial could actually look decent, and I'm saying that from a bit of a bias. Well, it's not even bias position. It's just the fact that I got to cast them in the CCT Global Finals, which they actually ended up flopping. Right? They got 1 win and 2 losses, and they bombed out. It's just the fact that they lost those 2 games really closely. One of them was against Bad Boom, and it was an incredibly close best of 3, going double digits on every single map. So I honestly believe Imperial's got the firepower to beat a lot of the teams here. It's all about the fact that sometimes it kind of feels like they're not on the same page for some things, but I really think that they are improving, and I really think that they will surprise a lot of people. I'm even considering putting them in to go through to the next stage. Then we go to Bad Boom Namiga. This should be a much closer game than it is. I'm going to side with Bad Boom. Bad Boom have been really good with best of ones and close qualifiers for the Yala Compass, for the MRQ. BO1s are just really strong for them, even though they are somehow finding ways to lose games that I don't know how they're losing, but they are every now and then. So I will go with them. I usually like Namiga a lot, but the last couple of weeks and months have been really dire. So I'm not expecting too much out of Namiga. I don't think they're going to get 0-3, but I think they are one of the teams that could be shockingly bad for a lot of people, even though I like them a lot. I don't really see things going well for them at this specific major. Tyloo Energy. We go China all the way. I like Energy. I think they've been playing good Counter-Strike, but Tyloo just have too much firepower, man. Unless Tyloo are playing against a team that can fundamentally and strategically just take them a little bit too deep and show them, their flaws, they can out-aim you as straight as that in my eyes. And maybe against a team like Bad Boom, if of course, as we do the others until the end, we're gonna find out. Maybe against a team like Bad Boom, it's not gonna be that easy for them to out aim, but we saw what they did at EPL. They were even able to get 2 best of 3s away from FlyQuest in the Esports World Cup Asian qualifier just a couple a couple weeks ago. So I think Tyloo, again, similar to maybe Imperial, are bringing in a much higher level than a lot of people anticipate. Maybe with Tyloo is a little bit more expected because of what they did at EPL, right? But I still would say that BL1 wise, I'm expecting them to come in guns blazing, and I'm not really a believer in energy as much. I'm not gonna lie. Legacy Lim Vision. Now it's pretty weird for a lot of people how Legacy got into the event with all the missed deadlines from Bestia with the visa document situation. But I will go Legacy. I honestly believe that Legacy is like the little small brother of Pain right now. Lux obviously used to play on Pain under Biguzero for such a long time, and now he's left and he's an aggressive rifle, an in-game leader. He's taking space. He's probably like he's definitely just at this point transitioning into a small Biguzero, and I actually like how Legacy plays. Sorry, yeah, I don't really rate Lim Vision as much. I think they are a strong contender for a 0-3 even potentially, but yeah, even though I know they've got some good results in Asia lately, I just yeah, I'm not the biggest uh fan of Lim Vision. Wildcard Metasport is an interesting one. I actually saw even some people putting Metasport in their 0-3. I don't think that's completely unreasonable. It's really easy to misjudge and just put really high expectations on Metasport because of Hampus and Plopsky and some of the good names on the team. The truth is they played really well, and Isaac obviously. The truth is they played really well with the MRQ. Outside of the MRQ has been tough, so I'm not sure how they're gonna handle some of the pressure. And when I say how they're gonna handle the pressure, I mean the young players on the team. Um, it's interesting that we get an Adam BV susp game on the first day of the major as well. Of course, brothers twins. In case you didn't know, I'll still side with Wildcard on this one. And then FlyQuest Fluxo. FlyQuest can lose some games that could anger a lot of people. They are a team that could do that. But I still will favor them. Yeah, Fluxo are bringing in some entertaining play to the table, but I don't think it should be enough to deal with FlyQuest, especially now that they've got the firepower of Nedek and Regali. I think FlyQuest now can they've now reached the point where they can pass that threshold of playing against scrappy teams and actually being able to win because of some of their individuals being better. So if we accept that this is how things are going to go down, which is probably not going to happen because BO1s, but let's say this is how things are going to go down in round one, then round two we're left with Complexity against Legacy, which is interesting. We're left with Heroic, FlyQuest. We're left with Bait, Wildcard, which could change some things. There is a world where Heroic and Bedboom play against each other, which is a problem. And I think I'm starting to form my opinion on who to put 3-0. Then you have Bedboom, Tyloo, which is a tough one and a best of one, especially. Wildcard Bait is a tough one, for sure. If Wildcard play Complexity is tough to predict as well. Fluxo Lim Vision. And if OG lose first, they're against Metasport. There actually is a good angle for Metasport 0-2 or 0-3. But if they're playing Energy or Lim Vision, maybe. Wow. This is tough. This is real tough. Please don't tell me I have to choose between Nemiga and Metasport for 0-3. There's no way I have to choose between Metasport and Nemiga for 0-3. I was just saying that there is a plausible angle for both those teams, but I don't want to believe it. I really don't want to believe it. Energy is off the table if they're playing Chinggis Warriors, that's for sure. Fluxo Lin Vision is a 50-50, but either way, both teams are playing against the Chinggis Warriors, and I'd favor both of them. So they are off the table if we're following the calculator. And I mean, if Namika win, actually, this is how things could go down. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna. I already started praising Tyloo, so we're gonna go on a full hate mode for the Asian teams, I guess. Okay, so we take a look at the calculator. Now we're gonna get into the game. and this is where we do the pick'ems itself. So Heroic is my first 3-0, and Chinggis Warriors is my first 0-3. My second 3-0, I think I'm actually going to go Complexity here. I would. Bed Boom was the other one that I was thinking about. I think if you're looking at the calculator, it's really easy to get baited into Complexity, and it makes a lot of sense. Wildcard as well is plausible. But again, it's just the fact that one result goes into the wayside, and then we don't know how the draw could change, right? It could always change. So I guess it's about the teams that we believe in the most. Do I believe in Complexity the most? Probably not, but they are decent. They are good, especially in comparison to a lot of those teams. They should be better. But again, my main concern, I'm gonna think about that later on. Bed Boom and Complexity. This is this could change until the end of it. So 0-3, I will go Lim Vision and Chinggis Warriors. I just feel like even a meta sport that has some decent names, maybe not playing the best Counter Strike, and a best of 3 should be able to take down both of them. This is my logic. I just think those are probably the two worst teams in here. Even though Fluxo is a strong contender as well to be put in there, I still think the Brazilians are bringing in some good momentum into this event from South America. So I will go Lim Vision and Chinggis Warriors. Lim Vision is the tricky one. Second 0-3 pick is the difficult one. But again, we just need 5 right. So if we get Heroic and Chinggis Warriors, it's all good. Those could be bonuses. Teams that will make it through. I think Wildcard make it through. Bait, I think, make it through. OG, I think, make it through. I'll say FlyQuest, Bed Boom, that's tough. Imperial. I think my main argument with myself is if I prefer Tyloo over Imperial right now. You know what's the tough thing with both those teams? Imperial firepower, they both rely on pure firepower. I think Imperial have something going on with trying to play meta Counter Strike after the CST Global Finals. I think they are trying to play more logical and in-depth Counter Strike. I like Tyloo. This is the one that I'm unsure about, and the fact that, for example, FlyQuest have lost a lot to Tyloo lately. I think FlyQuest might not even make it, right? So out of those teams, I think the least volatile ones are Wildcard, Bait, OG, and Bedboom. Imperial, FlyQuest, and Tyloo. Out of those 3, whichever 2 you feel like going for or you pick, I don't think you're making a mistake. I really don't. Now for the 3-0, I was really thinking Bedboom 3-0 alongside Heroic. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think Complexity is a team that could lose a BO1 or a best of 3 depending on who they play against. I feel like Bedboom is a really surprisingly good one. Well, I say surprisingly good. They have world-class players, right? But again, maybe consistency-wise, I will still go with Complexity because it's just the obvious best team. I still think there is an angle for Bedboom winning a BO3 against Complexity and making their way through. But we're gonna keep it like that, even though you have. Oh, but they have Boomich and Exile playing major. They're gonna be. You know what? We're going with Bedboom. We're going with Bedboom. Yeah, Complexity will lose one map. We don't even know if they're playing with Hauser yet. So yeah, that's how we're going with it. Lim Vision and Chinggis Warriors in the 0-3, even though Nemiga and Metasport could both be good conversations to be had, I still will go Lim Vision. I still will go Lim Vision. I have a funky feeling for Nemiga. I think for Nemiga there's something there. I'm not sure if it's really bad or really good, but they just don't feel safe to go with. So yeah, this is gonna be my pick'ems. This is what I'm looking in. Hopefully that's helped some of you guys. And yeah, please let me know what you think about that. Please let me know what your pick'ems are. You can share all of them in the description. And for those of you that didn't know, by the way, I'm just gonna use this to give a quick shout out. We are doing the pick'em challenges with Skin Club as well, which is completely free. I'm gonna leave a link for you down in the description of this video, and you can go over, do your pick'ems for free on Skin Club, and you can do your pick'ems for every single stage. And if you get enough right, you can win a dragon lore, or you can win a skin out of a total prize pool of $20,000. So yeah, it doesn't cost anything. It's completely free. You just have to be of legal age, obviously, to register on the website. You need to be 18. But it doesn't require you to deposit. It doesn't require you to play anything. You can just go in, do your pick'ems, and that's it. And you can win some cool prizes if you get enough points. So make sure you go in and check out Skin Club. I'm gonna leave the link on top of the description. And yeah, I'm gonna see you in the next video. Stay safe and bye bye.